Hello friends, I am Shubham Bhivaniwala and today we will be learning about dynamic table layout. A dynamic table layout is such that we want to add some columns or some rows according to our wish. As you can see in this screen, I have a table created in my emulator and I will be adding some dynamically generated columns and rows. Let us add this dynamically generated columns. I will add two more. This is the last one. Let's now add some rows. We will be adding some rows here. So our row addition is finished. This is a pretty cool table layout I have designed after so many error solving, and I got finally correct view. Now one important feature I have created in this layout is if I scroll for the other two columns, let's see, the header part also changes simultaneously. If I scroll this as both the layouts scroll simultaneously, and similarly if I scroll the column up and down, both the layout scrolls. So let us check now how this layout looks like. So this is our layout design. This is the screen, main screen. It is divided into four components: component A, component B, component C, and component D. Each component can be viewed as a relative layout or a linear layout or any layout in the Android. This relative layout or component A is of fixed dimensions. The component B consists of a horizontal scroll view. Component C consists of a normal scroll view, and the component D consists of horizontal scroll view inside scroll view. This nesting of scroll views has to be done in order to get the both direction scrolls. As in this layout we are adding our data, so it must move in both the directions. Every layout consists of a table. Now let us move on to code part and let's see how this looks like. For the first part of the code, I have to add relative layouts. So I have initialized this relative layout and let's see how our code looks like. I have created a initial relative layout structure in my XML file so that I can get the base XML. I have created a reference in the Java part, and for the first we will initialize all the relative layouts in the view. So let us move on to function that initialize the relative layouts. This is the function where I initialized relative layout, give dimensions to it, give IDs to it, and arrange this layout relatively with each other. Like I have fixed the dimension of relative layout A, relative layout B, C and D. All the four layouts are of fixed dimension so that I can get a fixed value And for the fixed value, I have used screen width and screen height. Let's see how we will calculate the screen width and screen height. It is in the function. Let's check where that function is. It's present here. I use this function to get the screen width and screen height. The benefit of finding screen width and screen height is whatever the size of your Android device is, the dimension of the cell will adjust according to its size. So it will not create problem if I use in a smaller screen device or a bigger screen device. Our relative layout initialization and featuring is done. So let us move on to our second part. What is our second part? Initialization of this horizontal scroll view, a scroll view in component C, and a horizontal scroll view and a scroll view in component D. Let us see how this initialization is done. This is the way how we will initialize our horizontal scrollers or all the scrollers. Again, I have fixed the dimensions of these layouts, and finally with this add view function I have added this scroll views inside the respective layouts. And finally, for the third part, I have to add tables, table A, table B, table C and table D inside relative layout A, horizontal scroll view B, or scroll view C and horizontal scroll view D. So let us add this. This is the function where we will add the table layout. These are the exact codes which I have created for any dimension device. So you can be using this directly. It will be available in the description section and you can use it. This is the way it is done. So now our layouts are ready. Now the important thing comes here. We have to add cells to table A, table B, table C, table D. So let us now look how the cells are added. One thing more, I have added the rows and columns with these two menus, add beneficiary and add item. So when I click add beneficiary, it will call this function, create complete column. It will call this function and it is responsible for creating all these columns, complete columns. So I have got some functions. Let's see those functions one by one. In this layout, table A will consist of only one row with one text view, and that's all, because this is static layout where no data change will be done or no scrollers will be used. So I have created a separate function for this addition. Add row to table A. I have called this function after I have initialized the relative layout, scrollers and table layout. After that I have called add row to table A. We will see this later what this is all about. So next function is initialize row for table B. For this we have to use a table row and then we have to add all the row element. So for this we will go to initialize table row. This is a method which will add the table row inside table B. And how we will add the cells in table B. Let's look out to function add columns to table B. This function will add table B, table row inside the table row of table B. Or you can say this function will add up all the columns inside a row. That means from this example, this white cells, first row white cells, this function will add this first row, this blue row, the header part, all the columns, date, Shubham, Raman, Sneha, all these row inside table B. After that we have to add elements inside table C. We have to directly add this row inside table C, as each row we will add, it will go down as a rows. It will not be appended as a column. It is default nature of a table that if we add row after row, it will consider it as a row, not as a column. That's why the name to the tag is given table row. So this function will add the desired column, and I have added this function parameters string text, so that we can add whatever desired text to this row. Now the major part comes to table D. And table D, for adding columns to the or cells to the table D, we have to initialize the row. How we will initialize table row? This is the way to initialize table row. And to add columns to table D, we can use this function. Use this function created by me. These are all the necessary functions required to create a dynamic table layout. You can arrange all these functions in many different ways so that you can get desired view. Let's see. I have done this addition of cells and rows on a menu click. You can achieve it by clicking on a button somewhere kept in the layout. One thing more, this parallel scrolling of this two layout is achieved by these two functions. On scroll, change horizontal scroll view. One thing more, we all know there is a horizontal scroll view available for our use, but we have to override this horizontal scroll view to get our desired function to work. Let's see how we will override this. this is our overridden function, overridden class. I have extended it to horizontal scroll view. I have added an interface here. Some of the constructors. Then I have added scroll listener, and then I have added the desired function. What happens is, when we call this interface from this class as this horizontal scroll view dot set scroll view listener, this will call here, and in return this function will be executed. As I have already created this function here, it is created here, it will be overridden. As it is available in interface, this function will be overridden, and I have overridden this function here as public void on scroll changed. So how this helps is, as the original function was something like this, but I have changed this function to something like this. I have done this because I want this function to work as this. What this function means is, let us suppose if horizontal scroll view B calls this function, then as horizontal scroll view B scrolls up and down with the same position, horizontal scroll view D will also scroll. And if horizontal scroll view D calls this function, then with the same movement horizontal scroll view V will also scroll. And similarly, you can create a vertical scroll exactly similar to that of horizontal scroll, and then you will achieve the desired layout. I hope this video is useful to you. Please subscribe, like and share this video. If any doubts, you can ask it in comment, and the rest description of this code will be available in the description section. Thank you.